This is my house. It's very cozy, it's even more stylish, it just has a tiny problem. The back, yeah, it's basically non-existent, which is what I want to fix today. Welcome to my grand backyard makeover. To be honest, I don't even think this really qualifies as a makeover, just because right now literally nothing exists that we could actually like renovate. I don't know, makeover just sounds like a better video title, so that's why I chose it. But that aside, I did actually plan this build out. You know, since it is my personal backyard. First of all, I want a huge deck. Then I want to add in a small vegetable garden, you know, so I can grow my own food. And then finally I just want to add in a lot of landscaping and a weirdly shaped planter. I don't remember how I got that idea. I also don't know how I'm going to actually build it, but I'm sure we'll figure something out. Now for the deck. I want to expand it a little, so we have more space for outdoor furniture or something like that. And this is actually a fun thing about my actual Bloxburg house. To make it look like it's kind of raised up, we lowered the yard down, using basic shapes and basements and stuff. And I don't know, I feel like that really helps this porch look more interesting. I don't know how to describe it really. It just looks nice. We may have to put some supports under it though. And I mean, yeah, that looks pretty good. That looks kind of fancy. I'm not sure if this particular railing design really fits in with the house. I'm also not sure if the deck should have the same color and texture as the house. It does look a little weird. Maybe I'll fix that later. But that's the deck done. Now this part was easy. It was just copy and pasting stuff. This is what I'm actually afraid of. I have never built a custom planter before. And the designer thought of had this kind of wavy design to it. And to be honest with you, I have absolutely no clue how to replicate that. I guess we can just start off with a normal shaped planter and work our way from that. Now this would be way easier if I had Transform Plus, because I could just use this concave and place it on its side and, you know, it would actually be doable and easy. But instead I have to think of some weird workaround to still be able to do this. Now this sounds absolutely horrible to do, but could we theoretically use boxes and curve them in weird ways to make it look like it's the right shape? Maybe, hold on. If you ignore the fact that it does not line up at all, we may be onto something. It's not 100% what I had envisioned, but hold on, let me just copy that over. Obviously it's not perfect, right? But if we compare it to the shape I envisioned, I don't know, it looks pretty close to me. What we can do now is just use these planks to kind of create a border around the basic shapes. Nah, come on, that's pretty good. If you showed that to me without context, I would say that yes, this does look like a planter. Obviously we still need the plants, but that's the easy part. I'm actually going to skip that for now. But now that that's finished, this actually makes me wonder if I'm going to follow through with what I had envisioned originally, which was that there would be like a wavy path going through here to this area of the backyard. And I mean, sure, why wouldn't we try? The good thing is that I now just kind of got a flow down, so it actually goes pretty quick. Now there is actually a small issue I'm noticing right now, which is that there's a lot of clipping going on with these plank pieces and the basic shapes. You know, if you just kind of go over it, they're very glitchy. I hope I can just fix it by going over it with another basic shape. I mean, that should really be enough, right? Man, I definitely do not miss the restrictions I had when building the cyberpunk city. It's great to finally have the freedom again to place down stuff without worrying too much. I don't know, honestly, I don't want to glaze my own work too much, because you know, I don't want to be that big of a narcissist, right? This is honestly, I mean, okay, it looks a little weird right now, with all these basic shapes basically being different heights. That's actually really annoying now that I noticed it. But just imagine if there's just plants all around here. And it didn't take that much work, honestly. I've been recording for like 20 minutes, and I don't know, the results kind of speak for themselves, honestly. This may actually take way less time than I anticipated. I honestly thought this video would surely be like 10 minutes long, right? But all of this probably ends up being like a minute of like video in total when it's all edited and stuff. I'm now starting on a little bit of detail work. First of all, I added a lot of vines to this wall since it was looking really bland. Ideally I would have added in some extra windows, but those wouldn't have worked with the interior, so this is pretty much the next best option. I also started adding lots of plants to this weirdly shaped planter we just created. I kind of mixed and matched both decal plants and normal Bloxburg plants. I didn't really build with decal plants for a long time, but really wanted to again, since I mean just look at them. Point proven, case closed. I also added in some other small details, or rather one small detail. I made this small barrel that's connected to the rain gutters on the roof to collect rainwater. That way I can water my plants with it. At least in theory, if that actually worked in the game. But I mean, that's what we have imagination for, don't we? But anyways, this right here is supposed to be our vegetable garden. I don't really know what's a good layout for this. I mean, this is probably good enough, right? I don't want this to be like that big. Now this fence is looking really bland right now. And if we move over here, I do have this station I use to plant flowers and stuff. So we could theoretically move it over here. It still looks really empty though. Maybe an additional planter would help with that. I mean, this will obviously look way more detailed when I'm actually planting all the things. Now you may be asking yourself, well, why am I doing this in the first place? What do I need so many planters for? I mean, it's not like self-sufficiency actually like matters in this game. But trust me, this is actually part of a bigger plan. Contrary to popular belief, I do actually sometimes think about the things I do. But the idea behind this is that I get a space where I can, you know, like garden. That's not a great, that's the worst way to explain this. Because, well, this might turn into a rant, but leveling up anything in this game is the most painful process. Like, I'm 100% certain the sun will expand and swallow up this planet before I even get the chance to max out my gardening skill. And that's one thing. I mean, if it just took long, I would probably be fine with that. I mean, sometimes you just have to put the work in, okay, I get that. But gardening in this game is first of all the most boring activity you could think of. Honestly, the worst part about this though is that gardening is probably one of the more engaging skills you can learn in this game. Everything besides the cooking skill is pretty much just standing around doing nothing. So clearly incredibly hard to beat competition. And honestly, I now forgot what I was even like trying to say with this rant, except that like the gardening skill is awful. Oh yeah, right, that's what so this space I just used for gardening to finally level up. That's what this was about. This feels a bit, I don't know, this feels a bit boring right now. Maybe we just need a tree to kind of make the space more interesting, and I guess we can try a bush as well. Yeah, well, never mind, that bush does not fit in at all. It's been a hot minute since I last tried this trick, but if we copy this tree and place it in the exact same spot but rotate it a bit, we can color all of these slightly differently to give it a bit more texture. I'm not sure if I like that. Maybe it's the texture. I don't know, it just looks a little too smooth. I guess this is better. Maybe we'll keep it, maybe I'll change it later. Hey, but that's the gardening spot. Maybe, hold on. Maybe this doesn't really fit in with the overall theme, but what if we added some string lights? It does look really nice at night. Is it fitting though? I don't know. I'm now finishing the backyard by doing all the leftover landscaping. Like the planter before, I did a mix of normal Bloxburg plants and the decal plants. This time I also placed down some trees. I added a birdhouse and an insect hotel as well, because those are actually animated, which makes this entire build feel a lot more alive. Other than that, there's not really much to say about the process. To add some lighting, I hung a paper lantern from one of the trees, and I also tried out a build hack I saw like years ago, probably, where you take a snow-covered bush and change its texture so it looks like a rock covered in moss, which looks surprisingly convincing. I kind of changed some recording settings when I was detailing the deck, and well, it kind of messed up the entire recordings. But in good news, the backyard is finally finished now, and I can show you around. It's not very big. This is what I did with the deck, by the way. This is just kind of a spot to hang out and enjoy spring. I added in a lot of planters and plants, especially these custom ones. This is a crate I put a basic shape in and then a decal plant on top. It looks really nice from far away. It's a little glitchy, but I don't really mind. And there's a lot more planters over here and over here as well. By the way, the deck is connected directly to my bedroom, which is very nice. But anyways, yeah, these are the planters we just did and the oddly shaped planter as well. I love how this turned out. It's really nice. This insect hotel and the birdhouse as well. It does feel very alive. I love seeing the birds and bugs use these. Then I mean, we placed down this tree right here with the swing, which is nice as well. Looking at it like this was probably not the best decision. I mean, if you fall off, you either smash your head into the fence back here, or you crash into all of these plants. Which there are roses right here, so I don't know, it might hurt a little. But anyways, here we have the vegetable garden, and this workstation I can use to plant even more stuff. Then there's this rain barrel right here, and of course a hose as well. And then finally a way to get back out into my driveway, which is now very under detailed because I moved all the stuff that was here into the backyard, so maybe that's something I have to work on. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video, and bye!